You talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So, interesting topic today here on Keek on the Mic, as the report is Robert Griffin III believes that the Bears would be a great landing spot for an NFL return. And I'll get more into this report a little bit later in the podcast. But for the first time in a while, as we're talking about quarterbacks, the Chicago Bears don't have uncertainty at the quarterback position, as Justin Fields is entering his second season as the unquestioned starter, where the expectation is that he will take a huge jump in his development. Former NFL quarterback and current analyst Rgiii appeared on the Rich Eisen Show on Tuesday and shared his desire to return to the NFL and named 3 ideal landing spots that included the Chicago Bears. This is what Rgiii had to say to Rich Eisen. "I've been reached out to from a plethora of teams," Griffin said via Odyssey. "Going back home to Texas with the Dallas Cowboys, I know a lot of Washington fans don't want to hear that, but that would be a great situation for me. The Atlanta Falcons being there with Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder would be a great situation for me. Going to Chicago with Justin Fields to try to help as much as I possibly can in that quarterback room would also be a great situation. I'm happy with what I'm doing at ESPN, but if an opportunity did arise, I do know that they understand that I still have the desire to play and I would go do it." Very, very interesting. And I don't know why this is so interesting to me, because when you look at Robert Griffin III, right? He's 32 years old and hasn't played since with the Baltimore Ravens back in 2020, and he participated in the Run Rich Run event, where he ran a very impressive 4.48 at the Rich Eisen event, which is that's what kind of started these talks about him potentially returning to the NFL. But let me tell you something about Rgiii. This is intriguing to me because I feel like him and Justin Fields have a very similar skill set in terms of being that mobile quarterback, getting outside the pocket, making things happen when things kind of get out of control with your offensive line. They kind of fit the skill set. And it intrigues me that he actually wants to come to Chicago and help Justin Fields develop. He knows his place. He knows that he's not going to come in and be a starter, which that's what Trevor Siemian said as well. But when you look at Rgiii and the skill set that he has, you can really look at it and be like, oh, it actually matches what Justin Fields actually does. And the skill sets are very, very similar. And it's always good that a guy, sees something in your quarterback, which that's what Rgiii is indicating. And he wants to be a part of Justin Fields' development in Chicago. And we already know that we have Trevor Siemian. We just signed Trevor Siemian to a 2-year deal. So I'm not sure what Ryan Poles would want to do if Rgiii actually reached out to him and said, hey, can I come in camp and compete? Which I have no problem with competition. Maybe you bring in Rgiii, compete with Trevor Siemian for that backup role, and just see what happens. It doesn't hurt to have the extra added competition. And I may just sound crazy right now. Maybe this is just pointless. But for some reason, when I heard that Rgiii wants to return to NFL and he would be interested in being a Chicago Bear, It just kind of intrigued me a little bit because, like I mentioned, he's only 32, right? I feel like he would be a really good backup to Justin Fields, as they have a similar skill set. And it's always a good thing when someone actually wants to play for your football team as well. But overall, I understand that we have Trevor Siemian. If Ryan Poles, in fact, does decide to bring in Rgiii, maybe just to compete with Trevor Siemian, who knows? But at the moment, it seems like it's highly unlikely because we already signed Trevor Siemian to a 2-year deal. But I would actually love the added competition. I don't think it would be a terrible idea. And overall, I think I would love Rgiii as a backup to Justin Fields. So let me ask you guys this. Would you guys rather have Rgiii or Trevor Siemian as a backup QB? And I understand that Trevor Siemian is already locked in for 2 years as Justin Fields' backup. But let's say Ryan Poles, for some crazy reason, does bring in Rgiii to compete with Trevor Siemian. Which one would you rather have, Rgiii or Trevor Siemian? Let me know down below in the comment section. Let's have some fun with this. Because personally, I think I would choose Rgiii. 3 to back up Justin Fields this season. But before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek